The atoll, paired with the Great Blue Hole, is 41 miles long. And is kind of a crazy little thing all by itself, and that the forming of it comes from kind of a series of natural events that have to happen. And they're all related, of course. But because they're all related, it kind of adds to the rarity of both the atoll and the Great Blue Hole. So first we start with the volcano. And it erupts a whole bunch of times and builds up. And then as tectonic plates shift, it becomes extinct. It doesn't erupt anymore. We call it an island, right? Well, in some cases, the island starts to flatten. And as the island starts to flatten, the reef around the island starts to grow upwards towards the sky. And that's the beginning of it. In this case, the volcano went completely hollow. And as it became hollow and started to crush down on itself, it sank a little bit faster than normal, which also brings us straight to the Great Blue Hole, because being a sinkhole, it's kind of the ground sinking, right? So we can say that really the Great Blue Hole, in part, helped develop the atoll and vice versa. Now, the Great Blue Reef is a whole other thing in itself. At 984 feet across and 407 feet deep, you can totally see why they use the word great to describe it. And not just is it a sinkhole, it's also provided us with a few very significant scientific discoveries. Because, see, in the Great Blue Hole is a series of caves, and they all come back to the lava tracks of the volcano. And on the bed of the Blue Hole are ledges. So we can see like a series of things that happened. And one of the first things that they discovered in the Great Blue Hole was that it wasn't underwater when it sank. And it did so in 4 stages, leaving ledges with things that are measurable, like in time, to tell where it came from and what it was made of. And we call them stalactites. Now, see, the unique thing about this place is that not only are they under the surface of the water inside of the sinkhole, they're also in the cave system. Now, they used both of the stalactites from the surface and underneath the water in the Great Blue Hole, and the ones that came out of the cave system, and they proved one thing is true, that when the sinkhole sank, it wasn't underwater. It was above water. The entire island was above water, and the reef wasn't even growing yet. I know, right? This place just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I'm telling you what, there is a reason that National Geographic and the Discovery Channel in 2011 named this place on the top 10 most amazing places in the world. And so if you go back and think about all the things that we just talked about right here, earthquakes, extinct volcanoes, sinking ground, those are all kind of rare by themselves. And it just keeps adding to the value of why the Great Blue Hole is called that, great. Now, as we float back up the levels of the Great Blue Hole, rising to the surface of the sea, we pull up on the boat, take off our masks, the tanks drop to the deck, the images of the reef are swimming in our minds. The fish, the coral, the manatees, the whale sharks, all the textures, the colors, the feeling of being free. You feel compelled, almost as if you can't stop yourself from diving back in and finding what might be hidden in the depths of the Great Blue Hole. It's easy to see how the beauty and the danger wrapped up in the soft hum of the sea can make people lose themselves to it, can make you lose yourself to it. The reef will change you. And now you've seen just the tip of an iceberg in what is in this reef system. I'll leave you with this last question. The adventure waits for those who are brave enough to dive in and get it. Are you ready to hold your breath and take that first splash? Mel Brown, Speech 101.